Hello, community. Where are we with open source large language model compared to closed source? There are a lot of ignition sparks for this video. One is that I saw to buy an Apple M2 Ultra with 192 gigabyte of shared memory. And I ask you, the community, what you think about this idea. And the second spark is I've read that in America, they think about limiting the open source LLMs to a low risk application and only giving the closed source LLM from the huge American corporations like Google or Microsoft and allowing them to have the full operational spectrum from low risk to high risk application. So, do you think it makes sense to limit open source just because it is open source and was just developed by a university and not by Meta? Should we limit open source really to low risk application and keep it away from more risky application? I personally think this is the wrong way. So let's have a look. Open source, closed source. Now, first thing, of course, as you can see here, LM says I look here at the leaderboard and I have a look here. What are the models that people love? Here, this arena rating, you see, first one, of course, is GPT-4. This is our closed source model. And then if you look down here, no way, non-commercial, 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 proprietary, non-commercial, non-commercial. My goodness, so there's almost nothing that is available here for us in the open source community. And then I focus here on MMLU, the test, and then there is some here, Apache 2, the Falcon 40B instruct. Here, finally. I mean, look here, just at the score. We have 86.5 here in GPT-4. And the first, if you want open source here, is 54. So wow, there's a significant quality difference. Of course, the amount of money invested is huge. Okay, so we have a Falcon 40B. I have a video on this, and then you look down, you say non-commercial, no way, non-commercial, non-commercial. And then there, MPT30B instruct. So here we have our next open source for free commercial use for us, where they say, hey, yeah, go, you can use it. If you look at the performance from 86, we are down to 47. So the reduction in the capability is significant. Yeah, and as you see in the last line, we have a T5 model, just a 3 billion trainable parameter, which is extraordinary good. But let's focus here on our two. We have here the Falcon 40B instruct, and then we have here the MPT 30B instruct. Great. Now, if you're not familiar with here the terms, the license term here, SA, is beautifully, this says here shared application. So what you do, you must give credits to the creator. So you have a little impression that says, hey, thank you for the creator of this code or whatever. And you must share any modification or adaptation under the same terms. And if you have a license here like NC, this means non-commercial. Yeah. So you use this and you get into trouble if you use it for anything else than research. Beautiful. So let's have a look where we are. Now, closed source, let's look at GPT-3 for a moment. So in 2020, 3 years ago, we had this 175 billion free trainable parameter model, and Microsoft invested here in OpenAI with about 1 to 3 billion US dollars. So this gives us a rough guideline. This was in 2020, their main product. Today, and I'm speaking here end of June 2023, our latest model is, what a coincidence, MTP 30 billion, which I will show you a little bit later on, cost more or less 1 million US dollar pure computing cost for the final version for the pre-training of the model. And here I only have estimation, these are not hard facts, about 3 million to 5 million of other costs, like for example, human and a little bit to build a company. So you see, We have come down significantly here from 2020 to 23 from the closed source, where only Microsoft could allow itself to invest multiple $billion, to here where you see we are here in the single digit of single million. So this is where we are today. Yeah, and why I've chosen this model here, because from MTP30B they say they are at least equal in the performance to GPT-3, and in some tests they even succeed or even have a better performance than GPT-3. But more or less these two models, according to what they claim, the creator claim, is identical to a little bit better than GPT-3. So you see what closed source was in 2020, we are now there in 2023. And you say, hey, wait a minute, we have new code, we have new methods, we have new application, we have faster GPUs. How is this possible? You're absolutely right. There's a beautiful array of new technologies. Think about June 2022, Stanford, flash attention. Beautiful. Think about June 2023. Oh, this is almost today. With LLM from University of Berkeley. Page detention. We have amazing opportunities here in memory management. If you want to, you read it when you apply what? It's great. Efficiency, flexibility. If you want to reduce the number of memory accesses and improve the speed of training LLMs, flash attention is the better choice. If on the other hand you want to improve the memory usage and the increased throughput, like I will show you here in our chatbot arena was the case with LMSys, Berkeley developed here, especially for this problem that LMSys had, the page detention. So you see, great. But what are now for us the compute platforms we can operate as ML scientists? Now there's a category, I don't know if you've heard it, because this is just in the American, the very intelligent American. So they are called Cloud AI Developer Services. Cloud AI DS. Or sometimes it's called CAIDS. So whatever. Who are those creatures? Cloud hosted enables software developers who are not data experts to use AI models via specific APIs, software development kits, or application. So designed to be leveraged by development teams and business users without requiring deep data science expertise. So you says, yeah, I remember this was this AutoML. Yes, exactly. Now, given that the AI software market is expected to be around 135 billion in revenues by 2025, so in less than 2 years, and despite the excitement around all this AI, the mainstream adoption is rather limited today. And there are some beautiful studies. Main point is a lack of skills within the teams to implement a really good LLM or any other AI system. And now this is now particular the role the cloud AI development service should play here in this market to help bridge the skill gap and reduce the effort required for software engineering teams. So you start with data preparation, feature engineering, automated machine learning building, deployment here in production environment. You can choose multi-cloud, of course, monitoring for accuracy, performance, and even ethical concerns. And you must say, hey, this is great. So I have it here again for you. The benefits is, of course, MLOps pipeline, speedy delivery, efficiency, proven solution by some global corporations. Easy to handle, almost like an app you have on your iPhone. Those vendors have expanded their libraries now of pre-built machine learning models and improved the support here for a lot of things. What they are now focusing on more or less 3 things. AutoML, LLMs, and vision transformers. I will tell you a little bit more about it. So if I do not buy an Apple M2 Ultra chip, because I have to tell you the feedback from the community was rather limited in scope, and they say Apple is not a main player like NVIDIA. And I know that AMD will catch up in the next 3 to 6 months. So Apple does seem to be somewhere at least at 3rd place. So what other options do I have if I need a compute platform? Now, Google in Europe is not able to get a clearance, a security clearance for their bot. European Union asked Google to provide here some basic legal paper, and Google did not succeed. So BART is not available in Europe. I'm sitting in Europe, so you get it. AWS, great. Here we have fewer options for customers seeking multi-cloud solution. Everything is more or less focused on AWS. And if you go with Microsoft here, the customer ratings remain rather low. And of course, apart from the big three, you have a lot of other startups. Rent a GPU clusters. Hey, do you need A6000s? I don't know, 8, 12, 16, no problem. Hey, we have leftover from 8 times a V100 from, I don't know, the Stone Age. So you see there are a lot of options. And I thought, okay, so what are my options? And as it turned out, since Google is not able to get a security clearance for its AI system for BART in Europe, I will not buy Google. Sorry. Google Cloud is great, I love it. But if you are not able to operate in Europe, then I'm not your European customer. Microsoft, your GPT-4 is so bad currently. If I compare it to OpenAI's GPT-4, no way. AWS, so I have for me personally solution AWS. But wait a minute, I thought these are just the first three. Who the hell is number 4? Globally, who is it? Well, there's an easy solution. You go to Gartner, you buy the latest Gartner technology report, and you find out who is number 4. And before I tell you who is number 4, let's have a look at the capabilities that those have. As I told you, AutoML is great here for non-advanced AI specialists. But what I'm looking for is here specific here, train language model, train vision transformer model here in these services. So this is what they offer, this Cloud AI DS. So maybe if you are interested, look out for the Cloud AI DS in your nation, on your continent. So what are computer platforms that we can operate, that I can operate? The first organization, I already mentioned this here, LLM.org. You know the Vicuna model, the 13 billion model, and now the Vicuna 33 billion version 1.3. This is the latest version I know from them. And they are great. It's an open research organization founded by students and faculty from Berkeley, Collaboration University of California, and Carnegie Mellon University. Great. Unfortunately, drawback, fine-tuned on the LLama model for Meta. My goodness, this was really Meta. You are a problem. So only a non-commercial license. So yes, I know, but at least they have possibility. Second, Mosaic language model. Great. They run an inference service, secure, private, affordable deployment of large language model. Great. Everything costs. I like it. I showed you the model MPT30B. This model was specifically tuned to a size so that it's easy to deploy in a single GPU. Either you go with here a bfloat 16, a 16-bit precision of your model on an A180 gigabyte GPU from NVIDIA, a data center GPU, or you go down to an 8-bit precision, you lose a little bit, but you can run it on an A140 gigabit. So this model has been optimized here for NVIDIA precision runs, if you want. MPT, if you wonder, Mosaic, pre-trained transformers, GPT-style decoder-only transformers, several improvements. I already talked about this. And as I showed you in the very first slide, that here we have an idea how much it costs to pre-train today an open source LLM. And if you look here, cost to train with here the specific Mosaic and machine learning inference system and pre-training, they say, hey, as we offer you 512 A100 from NVIDIA with 40 gigabytes, if you run this and for every trillion tokens that you want to train your model on, about a month, costs you about, let's say, $900,000 US. And if you go now for the latest and best and brightest NVIDIA data center GPU, the H100 with 80 gigabytes, it goes much faster in 11 days. So for each trillion token that you want to have the training on, you have to calculate about 0.7 million US dollars. Great. So team size, 50 plus team members, 4 offices, San Francisco, New York, Palo Alto, and San Diego. And I thought, this is nice. I like this company because they even said, hey, we acknowledge our friends at OCI who hosted our A100, and we are grateful to our friends at CoreWeave who hosted our H100, and we acknowledge our friends at AI2 who shared here immensely valuable technical expertise. And I thought, yeah, maybe I go with them. And then, here, 54 minutes ago, less than an hour ago, I read Databricks is acquiring MosaicML for $1.3 billion. Gone. So, great to see Databricks here, our Delta Lake company, our data and AI company, buying MosaicML. Great strategic move. Love it. Perfect. 2 partners go together. As you can read, CEO says, yeah, Lakehouse will be the best place to build generative AI and LLM. So, gone for me. So, what are my last options? And now I'm a little bit hesitant because I know, Apple, you're looking out to buy the next OpenAI company. So, I don't know if I should show you this, but okay, here we are. Number 4 globally is H2O Incorporated, Mountain View, California. You know it because I told you, hey, from all the Falcon 40B, the open source LLMs, the Falcon 40B, now version 2 already available, with here the Open Assistant dataset trained on and optimized. This is the best implementation I've seen from all the different Falcon 40B implementations. So this is how I found H2O.ai. And they have a lot of open source projects, AutoML, again, for automated machine learning. Then they have AutoGPT. I will tell you in a second what this is. And they also have here a specific Python code you can download, LLM Studio, for no-code LLM fine-tuning. They have here a way for real-time AI apps to build. This is all open source. And if you're an enterprise, they have also enterprise products for you. Products, there is an S-T missing. You can read it. What's nice, 20,000 companies, over 1 million users. Very nice. If you read the evaluation by Gartner, you know, they what is the pro and the con? There's only one negative point, that they say most of the H2O customers are data scientists. So there's a lot of the scientific development, and only 25% of their customers are developers who are not so experienced in AI. So they say offering should be attractive to developers, ease of use, interface workflow, but the marketing efforts are not sufficiently, according to Gartner, to attract more developers. And those developers who are not AI expert need additional guidance. But for me, where I think that I have an idea how to code AI, this is great because this is a company I'm looking for data scientists. And their products are optimized for this. And I told you, open source, H2O GPT, democratizing large language models here. June 16, 2023, a new archive publication. And they say, hey, we want to have an open source GPT for the community. Yes, we are an American corporation, but we want to build something that is open source and free for the community. I think it's great. So their goal is to provide an open source alternative to closed source approaches like GPT-4, with models ready for a commercial license under Apache 2, so free commercial use. And their project includes several fine-tuned GPT models from 7 to 40 billion parameters. And they are working on this. And I think for a company, this is impressive. And I think maybe I will become a customer of this company. By the way, this video is non-sponsored at all, unfortunately. But thinking about my options I have for cloud compute platforms, I like this. Open source LLM, data privacy, security, control, cost effectiveness, uninterrupted access. I think open source LLM here are important in a competitive landscape in the AI industry. And I think it is important that we do not regulate open source to the low-risk application, that we limit open source to the more or less not so important application, and we leave the main chunk of the market and even think about medical, finance, whatever is really a dominant market. Why should we leave this only to closed source LLM in the US? I personally believe competition is good for customer, is good for developer. The more you are transparent, the more there will be new innovation. And even we can customize model, and we have here to build our own specific models that suit our needs. They have an own LLM Studio software. So last point, if you are familiar with their products or with their company, if you have personal experiences with them, please, I would appreciate if you share them in the comments of this video, that you just say, hey, this and this product, or I tried out the inference cloud software or whatever, because I think this now becomes really an attractive solution here for AI data scientists that need massive compute platforms. And I think I like the philosophy of this particular company. And Apple, if I tell you, you do not touch this company. Leave it alone. I need a compute platform here in the cloud. So, and Databricks, okay, you could have waited one more day, but it's okay. That's it for this video. I see you in my next one.